I'm discovering that what's motivating me to make the syrup in the first place is probably just to be more in touch with the land. It really keeps me in touch with what's going on with the trees right now, and usually this is invisible. You know, the water is, they're pulling up the water out through the roots up the trunk. So this is a big part of what's happening in the spring that we don't see. But it really helps me be in touch with it, and it's kind of like a miracle happening right around me. And I like that I'm more in touch with it, of what's going on. And it's beautiful, like, I mean, to be able to produce something that tastes this nice, just from trees that are growing wild here, is really quite phenomenal too. It's quite difficult to tell the maple, the alder, and the willow apart from each other at this time of year because the leaves aren't there. So you have to look at finer features of the trees to figure that out. And so here's alder. See, there's no problem here because it's so small, but when it's big, the trunk looks a lot the same. But with alder, if you look at it enough, you see these little cones that they're very telltale.
And so this is the red.
Yeah, this is the red. This is the red foliage. Yeah, and you can sometimes see some of their seeds. Their seeds have wings. They have wings. The seeds have. There's two seeds and they have wings. And sometimes you can see some of the seeds that are left. You can see some of the shriveled up maple leaves up there. So that's another thing to look for, is just what's left of the fall's leaves and seeds. The three trees that I mentioned, they all tend to kind of look like this on the trunk. They've got lichen and stuff on the trunk. They have a similar look. Okay, so I have a maple in here, so we'll go in and really has slowed down. Like there's just almost nothing left. Just a tiny bit of sap. Before we were sometimes, when the flow was heavy, we were sometimes checking even twice a day, but I was getting at least 1 liter from this tree before, when the flow was good. The biggest ones we were tapping, we found some that were this big, but actually the one that was this big didn't give as much because it's too old. So the one beside it that was more like that, that diameter gave more sap.
Lucky me. Usually I'm doing this kind of stuff in a studio surrounded by green screens and hot lights, but it's Saturday morning and Anne McKirdy has invited me up the mountain to the cabin to enjoy some fresh homemade maple syrup. So now when Canadians think about maple syrup and pancakes, we automatically think of Aunt Jemima, but sorry Aunt Jemima, we're just going to say bye-bye to you today and we're going to put you aside because we are going with the real stuff here. And we've got some, so while we're here chatting and having pancakes, we've also got some syrup on the stove, yes?
Yes,
so the syrup is simmering. And we can't forget about the syrup because the biggest mistake that you can make if you're going to try this at home, and we do encourage you to try this at home, usually we're encouraging people not to try stuff at home. If you're going to try this at home, make sure that
you don't, once the syrup starts to get, once the sap starts to get thick, you have to pay a lot of attention. It's possible to lose it all at the end. And so in the last couple of hours, you need to stick around and you need to watch it, and you have to actually stir it. As it gets really thick, you have to stir it so it's not burning at the bottom of the pot. So it's getting about it to that stage right now.
Can we test some out of the pot?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to take it fresh out of the pot. This is taste the number one directly from the pot. I think you can see the pot in the background. Do you want me to bring my plate over there?
Sure. Yeah.
Plate's coming so we don't dribble the syrup all over the floor. Here we go. We're thinking of doing a cooking series as well, or a eating series as well, so this could be my addition as host of the eating series. Here we go. It's subtle, pleasant bouquet. It's a little thicker and it's much more flavorful. This is good.
Okay.
And I describe it's sweet, but it's not like cloyingly sweet like commercial. I don't know how many of us eat commercial maple syrup as opposed to just the sugar added to the water, right? It's very, very pleasant flavor, not overly sweet. It's really good. It's amazing, right, that we can, I mean, we think of syrup as being sort of from Eastern Canada, and it's right here as well. If you're willing to put in 20 hours to get a cup of syrup or so. Thank you very much for dragging me out of the studio and providing me with this experience.